Okay, so you have to remove the center console, but before we start, that's where I usually put my phone, on that flat piece. I don't use that storage compartment for anything, so I figured I could use that as the spot for my wireless charger, or where the bed of it's gonna sit. That'll make more sense later on in the video. To get the center console off, you gotta pry this part up. I've got a little pry tool there. It's usually a lot easier with two hands, but eventually you'll get the corner to pop up. You can see it pop up there. Once that does, you just have to pull up and then back, and the whole piece comes out pretty easy once it comes loose. The center part has to come out too, because we're gonna need to get to the wiring back there, and it's pretty simple too. You just kind of pull forward, straight out, and eventually comes loose. I'm going to be tapping into the wiring for the cigarette lighter to power the wireless charger. This is a terrible shot, but basically here I'm just testing to see which wire is positive and which one's negative. Toyota is not consistent with the color of their wiring, so make sure you test it, find out which one's which. This is the dual USB charger that I'm going to use to power the wireless charger. I bought a couple of these before and put them in my truck. They work well, so I got the same brand. And this is what comes in the kit, basically, the wiring and the socket. And I will be cutting off those leads. These are the connectors that I'm going to use to splice the wireless charger wires onto the cigarette lighter wires. This is the spot that I decided to put the USB outlet. It took me a while to figure out what the best location was. Originally I was going to put it in the back, but there wasn't enough space behind the console once it was in the car, so it ended up being at the bottom of the console. Make sure to measure out the right distance too. You don't want to end up too short or too close to the inside wall there. I first drilled a pilot hole, and then I used this step drill bit to make the hole in the plastic. They work out really great, leave nice clean holes that are perfectly round. So now the hole was drilled, and I just installed the USB outlet. And it's pretty simple, just put it in the hole and use the little backer screw to make sure it's secure. You can adjust it to how you want it, and then just tighten up the backing screw to make sure it's secure. And here I'm just testing everything to make sure it's all going to fit properly before I move any further along, and looks like everything's going to work. It's not the best shot either, but here I'm just connecting or splicing the positive wire to the positive wire on the cigarette lighter, and then I'm going to do the negative wire to the negative wire on the cigarette lighter. It was kind of awkward working in this position, basically because I was trying not to block the camera, but even though the shot didn't come out that great, you kind of get the idea there, what's going on. I got lucky on the routing the wires so that they come out underneath the console. There's a nice size hole that the wires fit through and don't disturb any of the console connection points. So just push it through there and then pulled it out through the bottom. So now with the wiring done, just had to connect positive to the positive terminal and the negative to the negative terminal, and then just snap the console back into place. Also made sure to leave enough slack in the wiring so that I can still pull the console off if I need to in the future. With everything put back in place, I just want to do a quick test and make sure it's working properly. And the light's up, so we're good to go. So this is the bed that the wireless charger is going to get glued to, and then the phone's actually going to sit in while it charges. I don't have any footage of me making this, but basically it's just a piece of 3/4 inch MDF with a couple of 45-degree angles cut, so that the top of it is 3 inches and the bottom of it is about 2 inches. I had to modify the bed a little bit. I had to add a couple pieces to raise the lip on each side. That'll make sure the phone stays in place. And also carved out where the wiring will go. You'll see what I mean by that here. Kind of helps wrap it around, keeps it all flat against the MDF there. I used a utility knife to carve the channel for the wiring, and just use some sandpaper to clean it up a little bit. I'm using 5-minute epoxy to attach the wireless charging pad to the MDF bed. I also used some 5-minute epoxy to glue the wiring down into the channel so it's just flat and make sure it didn't go anywhere. I don't have video footage of that, but you'll see what that looks like later. This is my first time trying to upholster something. I've never done it before, and didn't do such a great job. It came out okay. I'm sure with practice I could get better at it, but just wanted something to kind of tidy everything up and kind of make it look like it belongs in the truck. I bought this vinyl from Hobby Lobby, but I'm sure you can get it at any store that sells fabric. It's nothing special, just black vinyl. I really have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to this, so I'm just kind of trying to figure out, I want to make sure I have enough fabric, but want to make sure I don't have too little fabric at the same time. So as you can see, I'm kind of trying to figure out and estimate how much to keep, how much to cut. One of the things I noticed is that the vinyl does not like sharp corners, so I went to the sander and kind of sanded everything over and make sure I had nice round curves wherever I could. This is probably not the best contact cement to use for this, but it's what I had on hand. Barge is really good at sticking stuff together. The only thing is that once the two items are stuck together, there's no room for adjustment, so you got to make sure you get it right the first time. I ended up applying 2 coats of the contact cement to both the vinyl and the MDF. MDF soaks it up very quickly, so you got to make sure you have a lot on there. While the contact cement set up, I made sure to weight down the vinyl because it'll start curling on you if you don't. And this is the point of no return here. Once it makes contact, it sticks. I did get a tiny air bubble. You can't see it, but I was able to get it out since the sides weren't completely pressed down. But once I was happy, I ended up using just a round marker that I had to really make sure I get good pressure on the wireless charging pad. I want to make sure I had good contact with that. And here I just want to show the split in the vinyl that I cut to allow for the wire to come out the side there. Like I said, I've never done upholstery before, so here I'm just trying to figure out how to make it look neater and just kind of tidy it up and clean it up a little bit. So here's the finished product. I don't think it looks too bad from the top. The bottom came out a little janky, but I don't think it's too bad for my first try, and I'm not going to be looking at the bottom, so I'm not too worried about it. So now it's time to connect everything up, and it's just a matter of plugging in the USB and then putting everything back together in the console. I didn't want to drill a hole in this plastic cover, and it worked out that the wiring was pretty thin, so the plastic cover can still close with the wiring just kind of shoved into the side there. And you see here I'm just kind of pushing the wire in underneath it, and it locks down, and now it's just a matter of testing it and make sure it all works correctly. This works with both the iPhone and Samsung Galaxy S10. One of the things I'm not too sure about is how hot this will get. I haven't been on any long drives yet with the phone charging, so I don't really know yet. If I do that anytime soon, I'll try to come back and leave a comment in the description, or maybe pin a comment in the comment section for anybody that's interested. Thanks for watching.